Hello everyone. In this video we are going to take a look at the petrous part of the temporal bone, which is its most complicated part. The importance of the petrous part is that it is not only related to a large number of important structures, but it also houses the middle ear and the inner ear, whereas the squamous and tympanic parts, they house the external auditory meatus and give attachment to the pinna. Now in this lateral view of the temporal bone, you can hardly see anything of the petrous part, just a little bit here. So we will have to focus on the medial view and the inferior view. If we go to the medial view here, this prismatic wedge is the petrous part of the temporal bone. You can see that it has an apex, it has a base over here attached to both the squamous part and the mastoid part. So this is the base of the petrous part. Here is the apex. It has a short anterior border over here. It has a long superior border, and it has a posterior border. So you have anterior, posterior and superior borders, and you have an anterior surface, you have a posterior surface, and below here you have an inferior surface. If you look at the apex over here, the tip of this apical part is attached by the petrosphenoid ligament to the petrosal process on the dorsal celli of the sphenoid, underneath which passes the abducent nerve on its way to the cavernous sinus. Further, if you look at the superior surface, here you can see a depression, which is actually the position of the trigeminal cave or Meckel's cave, which is a pouch of the dura mater housing the trigeminal ganglion. And on the superior border you can see this notch, which actually supports the trigeminal nerve. So you have the sensory and motor roots of the trigeminal nerve passing through here, and its expansion into the trigeminal ganglion on the upper surface. And behind this trigeminal impression you can see a small elevation which is called the arcuate eminence. So this arcuate eminence is actually due to the bulge of the superior semicircular canal. And then you have a big area apart from this. This area is the roof of the middle ear cavity and the internal ear, and it is called the tegmen tympani. And here you can make out the junction between the petrous and squamous part, the petrosquamous suture. And this tegmen tympani, as we have said, it takes a downturn and it goes into the squamotympanic fissure, further dividing it into a petrotympanic and petrosquamous fissures. So the tegmen tympani, arcuate eminence, trigeminal impression, these are the features on the superior surface. If you look at the posterior, superior, or this is actually called the anterior surface because it is antero-superior really. If you look at this posterior surface, the most important thing is the internal auditory meatus over here, and behind this over here is the subarcuate fossa. A depression called the subarcuate fossa lies here, and then you have a slit for the aqueduct of the vestibule. So this is a slit for the aqueduct of vestibule, and in between there is a depression called the subarcuate fossa. Now through this slit for the aqueduct of vestibule passes the endolymphatic sac and duct. Now this internal auditory meatus is important because it transmits the facial nerve, the vestibulocochlear nerve and the labyrinthine artery. And deep inside this internal auditory meatus you have the transverse bar which divides this medial end of the internal auditory meatus into an upper segment and a lower segment. In the upper part you have the facial nerve and the upper division of the vestibular nerve, and in the lower segment you have the tractus spiralis foraminosus for the fascicles of the cochlear nerve, and the inferior division of the vestibular nerve and the foramen cingulare. So in this posterior surface you have the internal auditory meatus, the subarcuate fossa and the slit for the duct, endolymphatic sac and duct. Now we will make the most of the petrous part through the inferior surface. Now if we look at this view, this inferior surface, here lies the apex with the petrosphenoid ligament. Lateral to the apex at its junction with the squamous part, you have the canal for the auditory tube and the tensor tympani muscle. And over this flattened area close to the apex, you have the attachment of the tensor veli palatini. On the lower surface here, you have the lower opening of the carotid canal, whose anterior opening is at the apex. So this is one opening of the carotid canal, and here is the next opening of the carotid canal, the internal carotid artery making a 90-degree bend between these two. Behind the carotid canal here, you have the jugular fossa for the superior bulb of the internal jugular vein, and in between the carotid canal and the jugular fossa, over here you have an opening. This opening is for the branch of tympanic branch of the glossopharyngeal nerve, and it is called the tympanic canaliculus. This tympanic branch actually goes into the middle ear and forms the tympanic plexus. Further medially, between the carotid canal and the jugular fossa, over here you have a triangular notch on the posterior surface, on the posterior border, for the inferior ganglion of the glossopharyngeal nerve, and this leads to another opening within the petrous temporal for the cochlear duct. Again, in the walls of the jugular fossa, you have minor openings for the auricular branch of the vagus. And again, to the posterior part of the jugular fossa, here is a rough patch which articulates with the jugular process of the occipital bone. Then again, you can make out the styloid process here and the tympanic plate here, and you can see that the inferior border of the tympanic plate has split to enclose the styloid process in a sheath, and between the styloid process and the mastoid process, here you have the stylomastoid foramen, and through the stylomastoid foramen passes the facial nerve and the stylomastoid artery. So there are a number of features over here, and here again is the apex, here is the anterior border. The apex points to the foramen lacerum, forming its posterior boundary, and this border articulates with the greater wing of the sphenoid, the anterior border, and again here you can see the posterior border. The medial part of the posterior border articulates with the basilar part of the occipital bone, but the lateral part of the posterior border is non-articular and forms the anterior margin of the jugular foramen. Now, having said everything, let us go back to the superior surface. On the superior surface, in addition to the arcuate eminence and the trigeminal impression and the tegment tympani, you have two minor channels over here close to the squamous part, a lateral and a medial one. The lateral thin channel transmits the lesser superficial petrosal nerve, which is a branch of the glossopharyngeal, and the medial thin channel transmits the greater superficial petrosal nerve, which is derived from the facial nerve. I think now we have covered almost all the structures in the petrous part of the temporal bone. Thank you for a patient hearing.